aka Keats39 here to break down another NBA slate. Looking to get back at it after a rough Friday slate. Played the bad chalk in SGA and the Pelicans. Missed a good chalk in Troy Brown Jr., but that happened. So starting this one off with the Clippers and the Trailblazers. This one, a lot of scoring to be had. Both these teams have been playing their best players a lot of minutes. Sorry about the sniffles. Allergies, not very good right now. But Portland has a lot to play for. When you look at the standings, they're still at 9. So they're within the 4 games of the Grizzlies, so still looking fine there. But they're going to keep playing their studs a bunch of minutes, especially trying to figure out their best rotations, getting Nurkic back. So between those two things, I expect them to keep playing their guys a lot of minutes. Dame Lillard, kind of on another world right now, especially last game, monster game. 10K price tag though, it's going to be really hard for me to play him. Won't knock anyone if you do though. He's just that good right now, but those really heavy scores, I struggle. Although he's been rebounding and assisting way better than what he typically does. That's when the team's healthy. But I probably won't have any of him, but can't knock you if you do. Nurkic, I have a lot of interest in. 8,900. Been playing around the lineups, and I keep ending around this price range. The Clippers aren't anything to be scared of against bigs. I believe, Trez is still out. Not that means that much. So he gets a lot of Zubac. He's just a way better player than Zubac. 8.9 is still tough for me to play Nurkic, but we've seen 50 plus in 3 out of the 4. I like his upside in this spot. Not a guy to build around, but he played 35 minutes last game, which was really welcoming. And Hassan Whiteside is, I believe, out, maybe doubtful, but I don't expect him to play. So between that, I think Nurkic, anytime he gets a big run, he can put up some monster numbers. CJ McCollum at 7.8, same thing as last slate. I doubt I have very much of him. Actually, I probably won't have any. I don't like playing him anytime he's ever like 6'8", 6'9". Playing really good basketball, but even he scored 20, 17. That's just not going to get it done at that price. It doesn't have a high enough ceiling for me, unless Dame gets hurt. That's the only way he pays off that price tag. Melo, he's still playing really well. 5.5, reasonable price tag. He not the very good matchup at all for him. He's going to see the defense of Kawhi and Paul George. So really not the spot to play him. Always has upside though. He's going to still, even with the good defense, he's still going to get shots. Outside that, don't really have any interest. I guess I gotta mention Gary Trent. Dude is straight balling right now. Seeing minutes in the mid-30s. Shooting the ball just incredible. Even saw Dame Lillard give him a huge shout out on Twitter. He's just, honestly, I'm a big fan. He's a really good 3-and-D guy. He's the type of dude you want on your team. Not a guy that I ever play in DFS. Sometimes it hurts me, but those guys that really depend on the three-point shot. It's just really tough for me to get behind. Especially his prices are up to 5K, so it'll be tough for me to do that. I guess Zach Collins in play as well, 4.3. He doesn't have a ceiling at all, and there's a couple other value plays that I'd rather go with, but he's fine. Other side of the ball, Kawhi Leonard, him versus Nurkic in that price range is really tough. I have a slight lean to Kawhi. He's been playing 38, 39 minutes a game, jacking up 20 shots. Gets a really, really good matchup here. There's no one on Portland that can even think about stopping him. So I'm going to go probably lean him over Nurkic, but not sold on it. But I'll just take to the guy that's going to shoot 25 times instead of 10, even if the peripherals are better for Nurkic, but Kawhi's peripherals have been fine. He hasn't had a big rebounding game, which he's always known to have. Good to have every now and then. Paul George, 8K, really good matchup too. Ever since he's joined the Clippers, I struggle to play him at 8K when he's alongside Kawhi. He's fine. He'll probably get to 5X, but I just don't see him having, unless he gets a 4 or 5 steal game and hits 6 or 7 threes. I just don't really see the upside for him. He always defers to Kawhi, except the 10 minutes that he's not on the court, but that's not really enough for me to do. Other than that, don't really have any interest in the Clippers. Zubac is worth noting as he's put up 2 really, really big games. I have no clue why. I don't know why he's all of a sudden getting run. So I guess you have to consider him just because when he does get minutes, he is really good for fantasy. But I probably won't go there. I might, maybe. With no Trez and Nurkic, Whiteside, if he plays, and Collins, I guess they are big. They might actually have to play Zubac. So I guess I have some interest there that I didn't really think I had. Marcus Morris, we finally saw have a good game last game. He doesn't have much of a ceiling either, but if he's going to get you that mid-20s, that's perfectly fine. Especially 36 minutes his last 2, so I don't hate to play there. Especially a good matchup too. Over to Utah Denver. Utah had me all kinds of ways. You can ask Gator. His messages were blown up for me because of weird stuff they did today. But resting almost all their starters. Expect all of them to play today. But wouldn't expect any crazy minutes. Honestly, from either of these teams. Not too much to play for. Obviously, as both teams aren't really running their guys in the ground like some of the other ones. Donovan Mitchell at 8K, pass. He'll get Torrey Craig, who, although Torrey Craig proved me wrong last game with Dame Lillard, he won't prove me wrong here. Donovan Mitchell will be in check, and 8K, he's not paying that off. Rudy Gobert, his price is creeping back up. He's got a tough task with Jokic. Jokic is athletic enough to guard him. And Jokic will be outside by the 3-point line, so I wouldn't expect any massive rebounding games from Rudy. So, no thanks there as well. Mike Conley at 5.9, I'll be interested in there. Came through with a big game for us last time, hitting 40. He gets probably the better of the matchups of all of them. Very fair price point, so it's 5.9. I'll definitely have some Mike Conley tomorrow. Jordan Clarkson up to 5.2. No thanks. He had a really, really good shooting day today. Obviously, he's going to always get his shots up, but 5.2 is really, really high for a guy that's scoring dependent off the bench. Royce O'Neal at 4.9. He's been a rebounding machine in the bubble. A lot of interest in him. Paul Millsap should be back, so it's not the ideal situation. But he's going to get open looks because of all the really good players that they have on their team. And he's going to get up to 35 minutes. So a lot of playing time. It's a really solid player. I probably won't have too much just because he's one of those guys that are gross to play. But I would be surprised if he didn't hit 5X here. That's it from that side of the ball. Denver, really tough. I wouldn't be surprised to see them even pull not a Jazz, but last game Malone said that they did not want to play Jokic. He didn't want to play Jokic. Ended up playing him. Only played 25 minutes. I actually like this matchup a lot for Jokic. But I won't have any shares just because of what he said. Nuggets don't really have too much to play for. So yeah, it's just a kind of a stay away from me there. Guy I do have interest in is Michael Porter. I'll play him. I'll keep playing him until he screws me, which is gonna happen. He's gonna get a minutes decrease at some point. But his minutes right now are incredible, and no shock, his performance has been incredible. 50 DK points in 3 straight. Only priced up to 7.2, so easily gonna pay that off if he gets his run. Still nervous. Denver has me scared. Millsap will be back. Don't really have too much interest in him at 5.3. Against Royce O'Neal, who's a solid defender. He's bigger than him, but nothing like I really want to have much interest. I don't expect Murray to play again. He's banged up. Don't see them rushing. If he plays, I guarantee it wouldn't be over 20 minutes, and that's a stretch. Monte Morris, I have a lot of interest in. Priced all the way down to 4.4. His minutes has been 30 was his last game and is his lowest since all these injuries. Just a really solid player. There's not too much great value, so I'll take a really good player that's going to be playing point, especially if Joker is limited. That's just more point guard duties for him. So I'll have a lot of Monte Morris, unless more big injury news comes up. But like Monte Morris versus Iguodala, like that's going to be a big decision tomorrow. I'm probably leaning Monte Morris, but I might end up with both actually. So I shouldn't say it like that, but that's my take on that. Another Bobo fun GPP play as always if he gets around, but I won't expect it. Another guy to look at for your value, PJ Dozier. Pull him up, 22 minutes last game, 26 minutes in the game before, well in the 20s in both games for DK points. Especially if Troy Daniels misses again. Daniels is a sharpshooter off their bench. If he's not there to score, it just opens up more wing minutes. And Dozier's he was really good in college, and he's been really good for them when he's played. He's a kind of a stat sheet filler, which when I play a value guy, that's what I look for in my value guys instead of the shooters that can score for you. So, yeah, that's it for that game. Moving on to the Lakers and Indy. This game is kind of gross. I kind of expect this game. This could end up really being a slate-breaking game. Both these teams, I wouldn't be surprised to pull a Jazz. TJ Warren questionable. Miles Turner questionable. I don't see any reason for these guys to run these guys out there tomorrow. Pull up the standings. It's Pacers 5. They're not going to get any lower than 6. They could get up to 4 if the Heat could blow it, but that's 4 or 5. They're going to play the same team, so yeah, I don't really see any reason for them to really play their guys. But they could. So Brogdon up to 6.9. Not a bad price. I'll have some interest. He played really, really well last game. 44 DK. Could have used that when he was chalk a couple nights ago. But, yeah, if he's playing, a lot of interest. Even more so, if TJ Warren misses and the rest play, it's a lot of shots, a lot of points. Same with Miles Turner. This is a weird matchup. LeBron questionable. I kind of don't expect him to play. There's no reason to. They have the 1 seed locked up. AD, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play. It's probable, but it's last game he only played 30 minutes. And it was close. Like the fourth quarter wasn't a blowout. They just decided not to play him really, which makes sense. Which brings interest to Kyle Kuzma. If LeBron's out, definitely have interest. If AD and LeBron are out, probably gonna lock him in. He's like been a weird guy this year, and last year, where like when LeBron doesn't play, he just like looks like a totally different player. Obviously, he gets to play different because he gets to hold the ball more, do stuff like that. But he's like looks like rookie year Kyle Kuzma when LeBron's not in. And at 5.4, I'd definitely jump on that. He's going to chuck shots. He's a pretty good rebounder. Not a scary matchup. T.J. Warren, nothing crazy of a defender. Or any other. Jakar Sampson, not afraid of him. Oladipo, more interest if the other dudes don't play. He'll be right about the 30-minute mark. If Warren's out, there's going to be a lot of shots, and he's going to be one that takes probably a majority of them. So you definitely have some interest there. He gets a tougher matchup with Danny Green, but honestly, at this point in the career, I'm not afraid of Danny Green. Waiters, GPP play, I always kind of, or not always, but with all this news, I always will have interest in him. Especially if they start rolling dudes out and he gets like a start. Like last slate, I had him available to play in every lineup. If he started, I would have had him in every single lineup. I really wish I'd had him, but they started Quinn Cook, who I ended up playing and kind of was, but he had value, but that slate had so much value just destroyed, so it did not do enough for me. Caruso, I kind of expect him to play in this one. It was kind of just a random neck thing. And I do have a lot of interest in him if he were to start. It's tough that this game's a little later than the first two. But I would much rather play Alex Caruso than Quinn Cook. So I'm kind of hoping he plays so I don't have to go down that route. That's good for that game. This will be a big game. Phoenix Suns, Miami Heat. I expect this game to go kind of fast. One of the faster, probably the second, third fastest for me on the slate. Devon Booker has been awesome in the bubble. No surprise, that dude's always awesome. But he's really starting to 10 assists last game. Had 7 the game before, I believe. Really just he's not really chucking up his normal amount of shots, but he's making a very high percentage of his shots. The Heat, I'm not overly. They might even play a zone because they might be down so many guys tomorrow, which they've done that earlier in the year. But yeah, Devin Booker always in play. I probably won't have him just because there is a lot of guys to go around on that team. But as a real basketball player, real basketball watcher, it's been fun to watch him. Deandre Ayton, don't like this matchup really, but the talent, especially under 8K at the talent, I'll have interest in him. But Bam is not a guy I like to really attack too much. Although Bam did say today he doesn't think his physicality is all the way up yet, but I still don't really want to attack him. Ricky Rubia 6.4. Definitely have some interest. His minutes have sucked kind of under 30, but that's all year. It's kind of been like that. And then when he does get to mid-30s, that's when he has his blow-up games for triple-double type numbers. So some interest just because his upside is in the 50s, and at that price, you'd like to see that. But he didn't fit any of my early builds, so I wouldn't expect it now. Cam Johnson continues just to play terrific basketball. Another double-double last game. He's going to get Mickely Olynyk, who, I'm not a fan of attacking him because he's kind of just annoying people. But at 5.2, and he's been dropping mid-30s every game. Yeah, I definitely have some. Mccoll Bridges, better real basketball player than fantasy basketball player. That's all I'll say. You can see him put up decent games every now and then, but probably pass for me there at the price. That's about all from that side. Now you switch over to Heat. Here's where half my lineup's going to come tomorrow. If Goron misses, which that's kind of what I'm leaning, I definitely lean towards that. I think you have to start Tyler Hero. They could start Iguodala, but I would be very upset if they did that. And my guess would be they're going to start Tyler Hero, and Bam's going to do what Jokic has been doing the whole bubble and playing point guard. When he gets a rebound, you already see him push up, and Tyler Hero is just so much of a better basketball player. Honestly, he's way better than Kendrick Nunn. That stuff's still frustrating that they give him none of the minutes over him just because he had the good start to the year. But yeah, I have 7.4 against DeAndre Ayton. I love Bam Adebayo tomorrow. He's going to be one of my starting points. Honestly, 3 Heat are going to be starting points for me. Tyler Hero, going to him next. He's obviously... He crushed me last game because I faded like an idiot and wanted to get Q with my lineups. But I'm not going to make the same mistake, even though at 5.2. Yeah, he's going to be a lock for in the 30-minute range. And against even the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the bubble. The only undefeated team left I just saw. But not really scared of them. I expect another big game from Hero, at least 6x. And then this is the craziest one to me. Mickely Olynyk did get a price increase. He hit 5x, and probably the toughest matchup he'll have all year that he could possibly have against Brook Lopez and Giannis. He's held his own against Giannis. I was pretty surprised. He didn't burn me for fading him because he was massive chalk last game, and he's obviously going to be massive chalk this game. He has a pretty decent edge against Cam Johnson. But if I made 100 lamps, I'd probably have him in 98 tomorrow. It's just that high of an upside game for him, and high of 4. If he burns me, whatever. He's the right play. Then you're going to Duncan Robinson and Jay Crowder, both 3 and D guys. Both Duncan Robinson more of a 3 guy. Jay Crowder more. He'll get you more of the rebounding and stuff. Both have pretty solid price tags. Duncan's finally coming back to a point where I have a decent amount of interest. He's going to get mid-30s, and he can always get hot. And in this matchup, I could definitely see him getting hot. Hopefully, Mccoll Bridges. I'm going to guess Mccoll Bridges covers Tyler Hero, which means Duncan Robinson's going to get like Devon Booker, and Devon Booker carrying the offensive load he does is not going to run around all those screens that he's going to have to for Duncan Robinson. So, could see myself talking myself into a lot of Duncan Robinson, which is terrifying. But that price range, like that a lot. Jay Crowder, I'd prefer Robinson, but Jay Crowder always possible to have a big shooting day, rebounds the ball, so no issue there. The last one is Iggy. One of the few things I got to write that slate was Iggy he gets the bigger bonus out of no Dragic. Not so much the case for this upcoming game because no Nunn as well. So Dragic finally gets to go, or Hero gets to go into the starting lineup and walk for minutes and shots. But Iggy, I still have interest in. He's going to probably see around 30 minutes. He's going to run the second unit. So I expect him to get 6 to 8 assists. It depends how he shoots the ball. That dude sometimes just looks like he forgot how to shoot. But definitely have interest in 32 and 20 in his last 2. That's good for that game. Last game is Milwaukee Dallas. I don't really. This game's tough for me just because the upside is so high in it, but neither of these teams have anything to play for. Milwaukee or Dallas could move up seeding, but I just don't really see it happening. But they've been playing their guys. Luka Doncic and Porzingis have been getting fed minutes, so it does make it tough. I have interest in both of them. I think that they could throw guys out at Luka, which is scary because they are big and long. I don't like playing guys like that against Luka, or I don't like when Luka plays guys like that. But Luka has been incredible. No surprise. And so has Porzingis. I think Porzingis probably It'll be interesting to see if they start Boban again. I don't see it. That made me really upset last game because I fell for it. It was dumb. Done with that slate. I need to stop thinking about that slate. But yeah, Porzingis, don't love the matchup. I feel like they should put Giannis on him. I don't know if they will. But Giannis would give him really a lot of trouble. But if they cover Brook Lopez, Lopez is slow, so he'll get a decent amount of 3 looks. But Porzingis is a guy that always seems to get in foul trouble, and with Giannis crashing in every possession, kind of not my favorite thing there. THJ, no thanks. Overpriced for his shooting. Finney Smith has been. I didn't see he's questionable. He's been playing a lot of minutes and he's playing really, really well. I won't have him just because it doesn't really get enough shots for me. But if someone plays him, I won't tell you no. But he's also gonna get, if he plays, he's gonna get Giannis. He's gonna be the one guarding Giannis. So yeah, I advise not to play him when I talk about it. Trey Burke, this dude has been. Play him. He doesn't play any minutes. Don't play him. He comes off the bench and plays 40. GPP play only. He can score, but don't. It's kind of bad matchup. Not tremendously priced. Over the other side, Giannis always in play. He's priced too cheap if he gets his minutes. Part of me thinks Milwaukee needs to start getting their stuff together. They've lost to Brooklyn. We're losing to Miami. Or they lost to Brooklyn backups. The backups. They lost to Miami. They were losing by 20 to Miami's backups. Came back, but wasn't anything to be proud of. Like, you're facing a bunch of guys who just have heart, no talent, and they almost lost. But I don't play Middleton at the price. I know I should give him more consideration, but I just don't at that price. Same reasons I don't play like CJ McCollum at the price. It's just when you get close to 8K and the dudes that have to hit their shots don't really do too much else. Don't usually like doing that. Bledsoe, he's been on the minutes limit. If he gets lifted, I'll have interest. I don't like playing him either. 5.6 though is too cheap, so we'll have interest. And the last guy for them is Brook Lopez. If he gets those mid-30 like he's been getting, low 30, sorry, I will have interest. Don't love the matchup because he's going to definitely see Porzingis, who can contest his shots, is athletic for compared to most fives. But he gets so many open looks because of Giannis. And he actually has been 4-4-12 rebounds, not so much, but he's gonna get a lot of open shots. He's a really good shooter for a center, so I'll probably end up with a couple of shares of him. That'll do it. Looking to get back on this slate. 2 bad ones in a row. Playing chalk has been killing me. If I fade, been the wrong way every time. If I play, it's been the wrong way. So looking to crush this one. So good luck, everyone, and see you next time.